there's a low blow by Sanchez right on Pacquiao's cup.
The year was 2001. Boxing was alive with young talent. And from the Philippines emerged a 22-year-old knockout artist who was already making waves. His name was Manny Pacquiao, a fast, explosive, and fearless Filipino kid who was now the pride of a nation. Pacquiao was the only world champion from the Philippines at the time, and with his devastating left hand, he was starting to carve a path that would one day make him a legend. That year, he shocked the boxing world when he captured the IBF Super Bantamweight title with blistering speed and raw power. In the Philippines, he became an overnight hero, celebrated not just as a fighter, but as living proof that dreams could come true. But with glory always comes danger, and Manny's path to greatness led him directly into the fists of one of boxing's most notorious veterans, a man who didn't just fight to win, but fought to break rules, bodies, and spirits. His name was Agapito Sanchez. But before we get into the video, please consider using your hype feature on this video. It will help support your favorite fighters, like Manny Pacquiao, and help us to keep creating content. Now, Sanchez was a rugged fighter from the Dominican Republic. He held the WBO belt and carried a reputation that wasn't built on skill or artistry, but on chaos. Nicknamed the Cyclone, Sanchez was less of a technician and more of a storm of low blows, headbutts, elbows, and everything a referee was supposed to stop. If Pacquiao was the bright new star, Sanchez was the shadow determined to smother that light. On November 10th, 2001, in the electric atmosphere of San Francisco, the two champions collided in a unification bout. On paper, it was supposed to be a showcase of skill and firepower, a clash of champions where the young lion tested his fangs against a hardened veteran. For Pacquiao, it was a stepping stone to immortality. For Sanchez, it was one last shot to prove he was still a force. What followed, however, was not a celebration of boxing, but one of the dirtiest fights the sport had ever seen. The opening bell rang, and at first glance it seemed like a regular fight.
Uppercut punches.
Of him, and at a height where he could get at him.
Both men studied each other carefully, trading jabs and occasional big shots to try and find rhythm.
Now it's Sanchez who drives Pacquiao or more. Lots is to use it.
Well, I think he can find himself right there in this fight.
Pacquiao, smaller in stature, was already looking to unleash his signature combinations.
For the initiative, as he waits to throw punches, and Sanchez sees it. Sanchez with a looping left.
Sanchez, with his longer reach, looked content to probe and test.
Can't fight short opponents. Pacquiao is to get in it. Really just got to wade in and just this time by Pacquiao.
To the casual fan, it seemed like any other first round of feeling out process. But underneath the surface, tension was brewing.
Under that time, almost a slight uppercut as that one was.
To make contact.
Sanchez had not come to box. He had come to drag Pacquiao into the mud.
Right straight hand and just bring him underneath a little bit.
Both fighters found openings, but Sanchez's rugged style already hinted at what was to come.
By Sanchez, both fighters have found the openings, working straight up the...
The round ended with the crowd sensing that this wasn't going to be a chess match. It was going to be a war.
To make contact. So round one comes to a close.
The second round detonated into chaos almost instantly.
Sanchez threw 80 and Sanchez throws exactly twice as many punches as the first round.
Sanchez rushed forward, and the fighters clashed heads, a collision that left Pacquiao with a deep and ugly cut above his right eye.
The good thing about the last round, Pacquiao sent Sanchez to his corner hurt.
Headbutt, big cut, right over the right.
Fight, we may not go to a conclusion.
Blood immediately poured down Manny's face, painting the fight in crimson. The referee stopped the action, sending Pacquiao to the ringside doctor.
height disparity between a southpaw and a conventional fighter, and Sanchez, a guy who likes to work inside. So,
For a moment, the entire arena held its breath, but the fight continued.
Bad things happen.
Looks like it's going to be dripping into Pacquiao.
now Pacquiao says and Ruben Gomez.
He's in with Sanchez.
Pacquiao, blood dripping, fought with bravery.
Got his balance right, and he pays you back.
And Sanchez's straight left hand on the eye that Pacquiao is.
But Sanchez, the seasoned spoiler, knew exactly what to do.
And another left, right on the.
Out of his right eye.
I don't think he can see it all out of the right eye. And that's what Sanchez is taking advantage of.
Sanchez targeted the cut, peppering Pacquiao with straight lefts that landed flush on the wound, making the blood flow even worse.
Pacquiao to do. He's just going to.
All right, Harold Letterman.
With every punch, the Filipino's face became a bloodier mess. And yet, Manny fought on, his willpower on full display.
The fight is stopped on an accident.
Duck, the sitting duck coming right. And because of the height disadvantage at this point for
It was now a race against time as the cut could end the fight at any moment. And Manny had no choice but to press forward.
Manny Pacquiao's in unfamiliar territory and doesn't know what to do about it.
you must lower your hands to hit Sanchez.
If the cut wasn't enough, Sanchez decided to escalate things. At the start of the third round, he unleashed a blatant low blow, smashing Pacquiao below the belt.
Of an accidental butt before the fight, they would have very short odds. And now there's a low blow by Sanchez right on Pacquiao's.
The young champion winced in agony and doubled over.
And Marty Denkin sends Sanchez to a neutral corner.
That was not a point though.
The crowd roared in disapproval, but Sanchez wasn't done.
Sanchez is going right at the target.
Earlier that he would be.
Pacquiao decided to fight back and teach the dirty rat a lesson.
The uppercuts upward.
Chance they can actually stop the flow of blood.
But Sanchez doubled down on his dirty tricks to try and stop the Mexican, only to have a point deducted.
Sanchez very sturdy.
We mentioned all of those top-rated featherweights who fought Sanchez. None of them ever knocked him down. 1 point. 1 point. 1 point.
Pacquiao's pace slowed as the pain in his hip and leg started to show.
Horrific combination by Pacquiao.
By the fourth round, the referee had seen enough to give stern warnings, but Sanchez wasn't listening.
A point which probably means that the fight is at least even at this point.
Especially with Pacquiao now getting into his deadly rhythm.
Right up to round 3 when Manny Pacquiao took the point. The first 2 rounds against Agapito Sanchez, he was too busy in the first round.
Pacquiao now battling unusual circumstances.
Sanchez continued hitting below the belt, pushing, headbutting, even clubbing Pacquiao behind the head.
And the deficit of a big cut over his right eye, and tries to do.
Yeah, but he's still falling over the back of his shoulder. Anything more than what he can see. And he's determined.
Manny, normally the picture of discipline, was visibly furious.
And we may see a disqualification in defense for those punches.
And though the blood is flowing, Pacquiao said that was the case in round 2.
At one point, after yet another low blow, he collapsed to the canvas, clutching his groin in agony.
This is a Pacquiao Pacquiao responds.
His team screamed at the referee to disqualify Sanchez.
I believe to a low blow, and he may be injured.
Instead, the referee gave Manny 5 minutes to recover.
He hit him right below the belt also. That's that leg.
5 minutes, Manny. Get up. I don't want you to lose. 5 minutes.
Pacquiao limped around the ring, stiff-legged, clutching his hip. It was clear the repeated fouls had taken a toll.
I think that's true, that it may be indeed the hip. Now there may be blood streaming.
Limpio, por favor. No quieres un descuadro.
Yet, when the fight resumed, he came out swinging with fiery uppercuts and left hands, desperate to wrestle the fight back into his control.
He didn't take the full 5 minutes either.
The blood poured, the fouls mounted, but Pacquiao's warrior spirit refused to break. By round 5, the fight resembled a street brawl more than a sanctioned boxing match.
Pacquiao has moved ahead, which had been deducted from Agapito Sanchez for fouling. And now Sanchez begins to work.
Pacquiao, now enraged, began unloading furious combinations trying to blast through Sanchez's dirty defenses.
Already that have not been acknowledged by Dinkins. But you can't do anything and everything to win a fight. There are rules.
The Dominican, however, kept fouling, landing more low blows, while the referee turned a blind eye.
Committed to clean fighting than you have been, George. In your view, should Sanchez already have been disqualified from this fight?
For a long time. Too many low blows.
The crowd's frustration boiled over into chants and boos, demanding the fight be stopped.
Permanent damage down there.
So in your view, this fight should already have been over with Pacquiao the winner.
And I agree with George.
The referee just not paid any attention. But this is one of those old-fashioned.
Even commentators wondered aloud if Sanchez should have already been disqualified.
The referee just cannot see these low blows.
And there's another one.
But the fight continued. Pacquiao was learning the harshest lesson of his young career, that sometimes the ring isn't a place of fair play, but of survival.
Evidently, there should be some.
Yet Pacquiao's will to fight through fire was pushing Sanchez to the brink of madness.
Pacquiao's superior hand speed in evidence there. Sanchez comes back with a blistering counter.
The 6th round saw Pacquiao pressing hard, determined to end the fight before the cut or the fouls finished him.
Slow start. Manny Pacquiao channeling his anger the right way. He has gotten more and more controlled with each passing round.
Pacquiao launched aggressive flurries, his hand speed dazzling even through the blood dripping down his face.
He's been hit, beaten below the belt, and the blood is dripping out of his face. You wonder how he has the energy.
For a moment, it seemed like he might finally be turning the tide.
He's in tremendous shape. He gives Pacquiao a day.
But then disaster struck again as another violent clash of heads tore into the already brutal cut above Manny's eye.
Found a way to get out of this fight before the end of the 4th round and have it called a no contest.
And once again, they clash heads as Sanchez pounds his forehead right into the middle of Pacquiao.
Blood streamed down uncontrollably, and the referee had no choice but to call the doctor back in.
Pacquiao is ahead on the scorecard.
Well, he's ahead on Harold Letterman's card.
This time, there would be no reprieve. The cut was too severe, the risk too great. After a quick inspection, the doctor shook his head. The fight was over.
At 3 points, I would think that the other cards shouldn't be all that far off.
He stopped all cards. The fight has been stopped, and this goes to the scorecards.
What followed was chaos. Manny, furious, protested the stoppage, insisting he could still fight. His face was a mask of blood and rage, and his spirit unwilling to surrender. Sanchez, meanwhile, raised his arms as if he had won, only to be drowned out by a chorus of boos from the San Francisco crowd. Nobody wanted to celebrate him. Because the fight had passed the halfway point, the result went to the judges' scorecards. The tension in the arena was thick as the scores were read. One judge had it for Pacquiao, one for Sanchez, and the third had it even. The official result was a split draw.
Will retain his title.
Neither man left the ring with a clear victory. Each champion retained his belt, but the fans were left furious, robbed of a fair outcome. For Pacquiao's fans back in the Philippines, who had woken up early to watch their hero, the result was infuriating. Their champion had been cut, fouled, and battered with dirty tactics, only to leave the ring without justice. For Sanchez, his reputation as one of boxing's dirtiest fighters was cemented forever. For Pacquiao, this fight became a brutal lesson. He learned that talent alone wasn't enough. You had to survive the dark side of boxing too. From that night on, he and his team paid closer attention to referees, to tactics, and to preparing for foul play. The young Filipino healed, returned to the ring, and scored an impressive TKO victory just months later. He kept climbing until 2 years later, he destroyed Marco Antonio Barrera and truly announced himself as one of the sport's greats. For Sanchez, the night marked the beginning of his decline. Stripped of his WBO belt after a failed medical test, his career never recovered. Instead of being remembered as a champion, he was remembered as the man who tried to foul his way to victory against Manny Pacquiao. Tragedy would strike just a few years later in 2005, when Sanchez was killed in a street shooting. Looking back, the fight between Manny Pacquiao and Agapito Sanchez isn't remembered for beautiful boxing, highlight reel knockouts, or dazzling displays of skill. Instead, it is remembered as one of the dirtiest nights in modern boxing history. A night when a young, hungry champion was thrown into the fire of fouls, blood, and chaos, and came out tougher for it. Pacquiao didn't get the victory that night, but in a way he gained something even more valuable: resilience. He proved he could endure blood, pain, and dirty tricks, and still keep fighting. That lesson, burned into him on a bloody night in San Francisco, would carry him through the wars to come against legends like Barrera, Morales, and Marquez. That night, Manny Pacquiao left the ring bloodied and robbed, but not broken. He would go on to become one of the greatest boxers in history. And Agapito Sanchez would be remembered for one thing: the night he turned boxing into a dark sport, and still couldn't break the spirit of Manny Pacquiao. Does Manny Pacquiao belong on the Mount Rushmore of boxing? Or is he already the greatest to ever lace up the gloves? Drop your take in the comments, because I'm curious to see where you stand on this one. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so you never miss a fight story, and stay tuned, because we've got a lot more fire coming your way. Thanks for riding with us, and I'll catch you in the next one.